Now let's take a look here at Robert Muldoon and his three little sidekicks here in the engine workers. He also has these traps here. He's got 8 of them. We'll see that here. Robert Muldoon is ranged with 14 health. His engine workers are also ranged, and there's 3 of those. They have a move value of 3. At the start of your turn, you may place a trap. Whenever one of your traps is returned to the box, draw a card. Muldoon starts with 8 traps. And so we're going to see here on Muldoon's trap card explanation on how they work. You may place a trap token in any unoccupied space in Muldoon's zone. If Muldoon's space is in more than one zone, you may pick a space in any of them. The target space cannot contain any fighters or other tokens, including other traps. When an opposing fighter enters a space with a trap, the trap goes off. The fighter must immediately stop moving and takes 1 damage. After the trap goes off, return it to the box. Muldoon and his allies may land on or move through traps freely without setting them off. All right, let's get into his deck here with his attack, starting with Muldoon only cards. Shoot her. If this is your first action this turn, this card's value is 5 instead. There's 2 copies of that. They should all be destroyed. A 4, 3 copies of it. During combat, +1 to this attack for each trap token adjacent to the opposing fighter. His Muldoon only defense. I've hunted most things that can hunt you. 2 copies. After combat, move each of your fighters up to 5 spaces. You may move them through spaces containing opposing fighters. Call for backup. His scheme here, 2 copies. Choose 2 different effects. Place up to 3 traps. Place all of your defeated engine workers, if any, in Muldoon's zone. Draw 2 cards. Now we're getting into the any cards. This is an attack, second shot. During combat, you may boost this attack 2 copies. Rending shot. Move the opposing fighter up to 3 spaces. 3 attack and 4 copies in the deck. Some common cards, regroup, draw 1 card. If you won the combat, draw 2 cards instead, 3 copies. 1 value versatile, and then of course feint, cancel all effects on your opponent's card, 3 copies, and 2 versatile. 4 versatile, leap away. If you won the combat, choose one of the fighters of the combat and move them up to 4 spaces, 3 copies. So there's the common cards, and they all happen to be versatiles. Now, in any scheme, remote detonation, 3 copies. Choose a trap in the same zone as any of your engine workers. Deal 1 damage to each opposing fighter adjacent to that trap. Return that trap to the box. And then tactical advance. A 3 engine worker only card, 3 value versatile. Move each of your engine workers up to 2 spaces, 3 copies. So what do you want to do as Robert Muldoon in the engine workers? Well, he's only got 8 traps to work with, so you got to keep that in mind. And each time that you set off a trap or an opponent sets off a trap, that trap is returned to the box and you have to they take a damage and you have to draw a card. So you have to keep that in mind that you're drawing cards. And that's 8 extra cards that you would draw during a game. That your opponent might purposely land on the traps with their, beefy sidekicks or something. Or perhaps Beowulf might try to get rage out of it and get you to deck out and draw an extra card. So be careful about how many you set. Don't just set it out every turn. Be tactful about it. And be precise. Shoot her. If this is your first action this turn, this card's value is 5 instead. Now, this card obviously is good if Muldoon is sitting in a multi-spot zone, just hunkering down, waiting. Obviously, you want to throw this out first on your turn. And then this card is cool in conjunction with the call for backup card, right? Because you get to place up to 3 traps. So you could do this at the beginning of your turn if they positioned poorly. place 3 traps at the beginning of your turn, surround your opponent with the traps, right? And your opponent be standing there, and then you can attack them for this card with this card. Keep in mind that they might have a feint, and they would only take 2 damage in that case, but if they don't, that's 7 extra attack. And it could be more if you had already placed traps prior and they're adjacent as well. So keep positioning in mind. He's a character that positioning is key. Okay, obviously true in all of Unmatched, but it's very true in the case of Muldoon, especially with his traps, his workers, and himself. You got a lot to manage there in positioning. So own the battlefield. Make sure that you're in control of it. Obviously, it's just a defense, but you get to move and position yourself, possibly to be able to drop a trap exactly where you want it at the beginning of your turn, because you can move through opposing fighters as well. And then, of course, the scheme, we talked about usage with the 3 traps, but be careful with those, obviously, as I said. This is great to use after your engine workers have died. If you're trying to just body block and hide the whole game, you can play this card, block, and play it again and block. I mean, that's 9. That's 9 attacks they would have to waste on your sidekicks to get through to you. Perhaps. Probably not, but perhaps. Second shot, keep in mind that this can be used with the engine workers, so why not use it with the engine workers so that they don't cancel it? They might still cancel it, right? But I think it's less likely to be canceled if you use it with the engine workers. And then rending shot, of course, moves the opposing fighter up to 3 spaces, so you can move the opposing fighter after you shoot them onto one of your traps if you need to do that, or position them for cards such as they should all be destroyed to get that extra, so you position them next to the trap to get the extra attack. And it's just some little combos you can do. Of course, you just have your basic things and movement. Remote detonation is good for a pass. Choose a trap in the same zone as one of your engine workers. Deal 1 damage to each opposing fighter adjacent to that trap. Return that trap to the box. So it's good for a pass if you need it to be, because there might not be a trap in the same zone as the opponent, as one of your engine workers, and then you wouldn't have to put this in the box, the trap in the box, and draw a card. But it's also good for getting rid of some multi sidekicks, because you deal 1 damage to each opposing fighter adjacent. So you put it somewhere, say you put a trap on the beginning of your turn, or maybe with a scheme, and you put it right next to a bunch of sidekicks, and then boom, kill them, remote detonation. And then, of course, you'll want to get the value out of Tactical Advance, because it's the only engine worker card, and it's useless for Muldoon. And I'm sure you'll be able to get it since you have a lot of engine workers and they come back. So what's his gameplay here? His gameplay is to hide behind his workers, because they can take hits and he can bring them, he can recruit new workers with that scheme. You're going to want to be setting out traps tactfully, not just all willy-nilly, and positioning properly where you can get them into choke points and make it so they don't want to run onto certain spots on the traps. On certain maps, there are places such as like a one-way, not a one-way path, but like there's only one way to get through to somewhere, and that's where you might want to put one of these traps, or on like, say, a secret passage door, stuff like that. So it's very map dependent, but look at the layout of the map before you're playing Muldoon and see where the best places to put traps would be, and play accordingly. Position is what you want to do with Muldoon, and hide and shoot. And that is how you play Muldoon.